Okay, it's time for me to make my video. Oops. Let's see if I can get this fixed here. This is a shirt that my gay friend Joshua bought me several years ago. And I just happen to be wearing it because it's very comfortable. Let me, oh, I tell you, it has been a time dealing with brain control. I mean, I cannot eat food without biting into my gums or biting my tongue. Let me tell you something interesting that happened to me on the computer the other day. I was on the computer, and as you all know, I have Linux Mint Cinnamon. And I have noticed there have been a lot of updates lately. And what I do now is I do a snapshot of my system before I do an update because I've had to undo a lot of updates. I had one update that was very interesting. After the update, that update was able to brain control me. I'm trying to figure out how they did that, and I think I figured out how they did it. Okay? I have noticed that everything I touch, I'm zapping, it's like the electricity in the air is just so strong. So here's what I think they did. I do not have Wi-Fi because this is a custom-built computer. Zach built it for me. It does not, as far as I know, it doesn't have any Wi-Fi circuitry. No, it does not. I don't believe it does. It's got an old ASRock motherboard that is not set up for Wi-Fi. So, how in the world... Oh, somebody's knocking on my door. Gee, why do they have to knock on my door when I'm in the middle of a YouTube video? Hold on a minute. That was my order from United Healthcare. It just arrived. So that's what it was, the delivery person. So that's okay. Let me get back to this. So yes, I was trying to figure out how in the world did they do that? They used an update to my computer to brain control me. I think I know how they did it. I think I figured this out. Okay, I do not have any circuitry or transistors on my motherboard that would enhance their ability to do brain control. So how in the world were they able to upload software to my, well, see, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth technology requires a special software that works with their transistors so that when a radio signal comes in, they can convert it to the signals that are used, convert it into whatever the computer needs. I do have a printer that has Wi-Fi technology. It's got the transistors in it. And I also have a router, which my men gave me, which I believe has Wi-Fi circuitry in it. Okay? So here's what I think, but they're not activated. Okay? However, if they put the software for Wi-Fi into my computer, it could work with my router and activate it. And that's what I think it's been doing. It's using Bluetooth software, okay? So I undid that update to my computer. But even though my computer itself does not have Wi-Fi circuitry, my printer does, but my printer's usually off. So my guess is what they did was one of the updates to my Linux Mint Cinnamon was software to work with my router's Bluetooth, which is not activated, and it activated it. So that's what I think they did. Men, you need to remove all transistors or circuitry that are designed to work with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or radio signals. Okay, but that's what I think they did. Anyways, what I did was I undid that update. I did a system restore, and then after the update, I was having trouble finding, I was working on my writing, okay, working on the Gail series and saving it, but I couldn't find the document that I saved. And that's because I saved it in the wrong folder, okay? But I was under so much brain control that I was not aware that I saved it in the wrong folder. And I kept going to this other folder looking for it, thinking, oh, it just disappeared. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right now I'm doing an upload. It just said unknown error during upload. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. Let me get back in here. Okay. So here's what I suggest we do, folks. Okay. This brain control business, they could win this war with brain control. They're cheating. The Gail entities are not doing well with one-on-one warfare, so they're cheating now. They're going to try to brain control us into defeat. We cannot allow this to happen. We're going to have to take extreme measures to make sure they cannot brain control us. I mean, look what they've done with me with brain control already. In 2022, they brain controlled me to give out the insane military order to take out 72 million innocent medical people because I was a victim of fake news. By the way, all the news is fake out there. And I figured out something else. It's probably good that I do not have a website right now because let me tell you, they can switch out every website out there with a fake one. Yeah. They've got the source code to every website that's out there. The reason they have it is because they're from an alternate universe that is basically based off of this universe, which I call the Prime universe. So they can get the source code from their alternate universe to every universe, to every website out there. You might say, how do we defeat them? Well, we're going to have to encrypt. We're going to have to encrypt certain parts of the internet. We're not going to be able to stop them, but basically what that means is that everything you're watching is fake. The only exception would be this YouTube channel, Gabriel Chan of Fox News, which is on cable television, which we can pretty much control that, and my Gail series. They're probably encrypting the parts of Google that I'm using for that. Okay, here's what I think. I think we're going to have to take this brain control really serious because it could be a real problem. If they could brain control me as U.S. president, when I was president, I'm not. Brent's the president. I don't have the the intelligence to be a good president, into making that catastrophic decision and then brain control my military into carrying out my insane order, which I think they did. I wouldn't be surprised if my military was all using phones back then. Yeah, and then when we were dealing with Lizzo, the phone rang when she came and attacked us. Brett picked up the phone. He got put under brain control and became a victim of an Indian scam caller. And he couldn't put down the phone for the world of him. He was under that much brain control. Yeah, Lizzo just took advantage of. There's a real simple solution to this. Chuck your smartphones and go back to landlines. I am serious, man. We are in a war, okay? We are in danger of the whole entire human race being exterminated. And we cannot allow them to brain control us into being exterminated. Here's what I suggest we do. And this is take it or leave it advice, Brent. You're the president. But I have noticed the brain control is really heinous. Number one, remember this. The enemy needs transistors or circuitry ideal for Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, which apparently is also ideal for the same signals that the brain uses to transmit thoughts via the nervous system, okay? And I did some research on this, and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth cannot just use any transistor or circuitry. They have to use a very specific transistor. It has to operate at 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, requiring specialized high-frequency transistors. Okay? Yeah. So basically, if you're building a circuit that uses Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you would typically use an integrated circuit like an ESP32, which contains thousands of specialized transistors inside a special package. I'm going to let our nanotechnology research team study the type of transistors which they need. Okay, but the point is they cannot carry out Bluetooth or Wi-Fi communication, okay, without these transistors. They're dependent upon it. Just like we need our hearts and brains to function, right? And this is how we can significantly weaken their ability to use brain control. So, here's what I think we should do. First of all, we need to prepare for what I suggest. Everyone should be given a phone, computer, television, etc., an automobile, because I've noticed even cars are using Bluetooth now, that is able to work without radio signals. Like all phones should become landline. All televisions will become cable. Rabbit ear television sets might be okay, since I think rabbit ears only act as receivers of signals and not transmitters. We're basically worried about transmitters. All computers will work from a wired connection. Hey, you guys, I've been doing this since 2022. If I can do it, then so can you. All devices designed to work with radio signals that are not authorized must be destroyed or have all the radio signal transistors or circuitry inside them destroyed. You do not need radio signal transistors inside your phone, your computer, your television, your automobile, and I hear now they're even putting them in washing machines and refrigerators. That is insane. What do you need a radio signal transistor inside your refrigerator for? It's insane. Where radio signals are necessary, we will install scramblers on the transistors used for the device that uses these radio signals that will scramble all brain control signals. This device will be called a scrambling radio transistor. Any transistor used for radio or television signals that is not a scrambling radio transistor must be destroyed. Once we prepare the world by giving everyone devices that are not reliant upon these radio or television signals for communication, then we carry out the steps that I outline. Here's what we're going to do. Okay? Since it appears that computers, television, smartphones, etc., and cars, now they're doing it in cars, insanity if you ask me, if they lack the specific transistors or circuitry needed for Wi-Fi or Bluetooth technology, then the computer, television, smartphone, car, etc. cannot be used to transmit or convert radio signals. In other words, their ability to transmit data outside of a wire will not work. Yay! That's what we want. And also, the computer, the television, the smartphone, well, we're not going to even use smartphones. We need to go back to landlines. Cannot be used as a way to transmit brain control signals. Go back to landline phones. You may say, I like it. You want to be dead? If they got you brain controlled, we're finished. Okay? You say, we can't live without our radio. Well, where radio signals are necessary, obviously for space travel and stuff and communication, we still need to use radio signals. We will install scramblers on the transistors used for the device that will scramble all brain control signals. Our goal, it will be death penalty. This is my suggestion. Take it or leave it advice. I'm not the president. To willingly and knowingly use any unauthorized radio signal, transistor, or circuitry. So any television or radio stations that transmit radio television signals must be sure to be outfitted with authorized radio signal, transistors, or circuitry. They have to have scrambling technology in them that scrambles all brain control signals. Our goal is to make it difficult to use brain control. Of course, the enemy can use their own equipment, which we have no control over. All we can do is try to blow up their spaceship, okay? But having unauthorized radio signal transistors everywhere makes it a piece of cake to use massive brain control on everyone. And since this war with the Gail entities involves all of us, this is something we need to address. Okay, so, So what we're going to do is everybody needs to go back to landline. Yeah. That's what I think. Hey man, I've been getting along without a phone since 2022. If I can do it, so can you. You say, how you been getting along with that one? Well, I have a VoIP phone. You say, why don't you get a landline? Well, the VoIP phone's been working for me. It's cheaper. So, you don't have to have radio signals to survive. You need food and you need a place to sleep. Okay? But you don't need radio signals to survive. In fact, they might be your death if they're going to be used for brain control. So, yeah, wireless needs to be finished. No more wireless, except for military use. Okay? Or space travel. And then that needs to be encrypted. All devices. And we should, and if we can come up with a way to encrypt radio signals from authorized devices, that would be good too. Yeah. This is my suggestion. It's take it or leave it advice, but we definitely, okay, need to do something about this. So everyone will be given a phone, computer, television, etc., that's able to work without radio signals. Like all phones will become landline. All televisions will become cable. Okay? All computers will work from a wired connection. You say, I can't live without. Oh, come on. Us baby boomers and older, like the World War II generation, we did fine without smartphones. Okay? You can do it. You're just not used to it, that's all. Hey, do you want to be dead? All it takes is some insane nut, some brain-controlled nut, to hit some nuclear button, and then we're all dead, okay? And that's what, I think that's what they're planning on doing. That's cheating. We can't let them do this. So anyways, that's food for thought. I've made great progress on the Gail series. Now, what I want you all to do is I want you to coordinate this with my men, Gail's men, GAILSMEN at yahoo.com. Okay? And I think what they can do is if they cannot remove the radio signal transistors inside your devices, you might say, well, what do I do with my phone? I can't afford to buy a new phone. You may not have to buy a new phone. We might only have to remove the radio signal transistor. And I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but I'm hearing brain to brain that everybody's got like a Nook or Kindle that has my Gail series on it. You might be able to use that in place of a phone. You say, well, how do I get incoming calls? Well, plug it in. What you can do in place of those hotspots, like when you go to Starbucks and stuff, and you go to hotspots to get all your, to be able to use your phone, they could have plug-in places. In place of the hotspot, they could have like plug-in holes in the wall, okay, where you can plug your device into the wall to communicate. How's that for an idea? Huh? Did I become brilliant or what? That's better than radio signals. And when you come home, plug it into you can plug it into your computer and get updates. I mean, I communicate through email. And I do it. I even communicate through email with my dentist to confirm my appointments. If I do it, so can you. You say, but when I travel, what if I get in an accident? This is where like a walkie-talkie, this is where the cell phone, I admit, or the smartphone comes in handy. We might be able to have like limited use smartphone that could be used just for like travel and stuff. But come on, man. Do you have to bring your phone with you everywhere? I mean, us baby boomers, we got along fine without smartphones in the 60s and 70s, huh? Huh? What about people before us, the World War II generation, huh? Huh? You can do it. Do you want to be dead because you all get brain controlled into insanity? Okay, those are our options. That's my food for thought. So contact my men at gailsmen@yahoo.com. Let's get back to landline phones. Let's get back to cable computers and television. And I think it should be death penalty to have any unauthorized, what I call radio signal transistors in anything. And we need to come up with technology to just zap them all out. Just take them all out. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for them to use brain control. Not impossible. I mean, they can still do it. They can create their own machines to transmit signals. And then in that case, we would have to destroy their spacecraft or whatever. But it's a piece of cake for them now to use brain control on everybody because we've got these radio signal transistors everywhere. Huh? We can't have this. Anyways, it was time for me to make a YouTube video, and basically I'm just reporting to you I've made progress on the Gail series, so check my link for my Gail series underneath this video. And I finished my story with Vladimir Putin, where he found Barack Obama's head in a jar. Yeah, not Barack Obama yet. See what I mean? The brain control. I can't even speak straight. Barack Obama's head in a jar, and that one's done. I also wrote a story involving my son and Brian Jenkins Schuler and how they got married back in 2012. He's actually kind of bisexual. And I'm making good progress. I also have, I'm backing up all of my data to an online backup, and I'm making progress on that. It's kind of slow, but I do everything through a wired connection. Everything. I do not have any Wi-Fi that's on in my apartment. I do have a router that looks like it's got antennas, so it looks like it has Wi-Fi capabilities, but they're not. But they're not activated though. However, I think the enemy has been trying to activate them. Yeah, men. What I suggest you do is just if there is Wi-Fi capability in any of my devices in my home, just zap them all out. Just destroy the circuitry so that they don't work. Okay? And we need to do that worldwide. Yeah. Wi-Fi needs to be a thing of the past. Yeah. It just makes it too easy for us to be brain controlled. So connect with my men at Gailsmen, GAILSMEN at yahoo.com, and let's coordinate this thing and make Wi-Fi dead. Radio signals have actually been around. They were even around in World War II. If you use them on a limited level, you can kind of control it, okay? Especially if you put scrambling technology in the transistors so that we only receive signals that are authorized. Something like that. We definitely need to do something about this. The brain control is getting really bad. And they could win the war if they can brain control us. And we cannot have this. We cannot have this. Where am I? Oh, here we go.
In a world of secrets where darkness reigns, there's a warrior rising, breaking free from chains.